Few things are harder to witness than a seriously ill child. Tonight, a look at ways to persuade these children to comply with the difficult medical treatments. Paul Solman explores a program created by a not-for-profit foundation called Hope for Henry. And we should note, the NewsHour's executive producer, Sarah Just, sits on the foundation's board. The story is part of our weekly series, Making Sense.
11-year-old Ariella Stein loves to dance.
Tap, jazz, hip-hop, ballet, lyrical.
She's been at it since she was 2. But lately she spent more time in hospital wards than on dance floors.
I have a type of cancer called Ewing sarcoma, which is a bone cancer.
Over the past 2 years, Stein has been medically bombarded.
It's a type of chemo called cyclophosphamide. I've done irinotecan, which is another type of chemo. I had a pretty big surgery on my leg, so I would say that was pretty hard.
Ariella's mom, Erica Stein, explains that kids, even when told their life depends on it, often resist horrible treatments.
You're not going to be able to say, do this because you have to.
How was your sleepover this weekend?
And so a critical question for hospitals and parents alike, how to get a kid to weather such assaults. And that's where SuperPath to Super Duper Better comes in. A behavioral economics program to help kids comply with traumatic treatments in which they earn play cash redeemable for prizes. Child life specialist Kelly Beck.
The kids identify challenges that they're facing in the hospital, whether it's swallowing pills or going through radiation treatment, chemotherapy, anything that the child or teenager identifies as difficult.
Where do you want to put your sticker?
And we come up with the amount of Hope for Henry bucks that they earn.
The kids are asked to pick their stiffest challenges, stick them on a superhero-themed game board, and decide how many game bucks they deserve for completing them.
The goal is to help them become active in their care and giving them that control in what they have to do because they are so out of control.
They're getting radiation on my spine now, and that goes right through my guts, and that makes my stomach hurt sometimes. And then I just feel really tired and nauseous.
Hey, Sophia, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Pediatrician Matt Davis is testing the impact of the program.
The question fundamentally is, does that sort of incentive or reward system help children feel better? Are their symptoms better? Are their emotions different? Are their experiences of discomfort different?
The hypothesis:
that somehow makes it more tolerable for the child and for their parents.
He is magical, and whenever I hug him, it sends a hug straight to my dad.
The program has certainly helped Ariella and her family.
Every time she went through something difficult, getting the bucks and being able to say, look, that was horrible, but now look what you can do, was really helpful.
SuperPath, already in 10 hospitals and opening in 5 more this year, is run by D.C. nonprofit Hope for Henry, inspired by Henry Strongin Goldberg, whose rare genetic disease required a bone marrow transplant at age 5 and months in the hospital.
Henry's world went from Technicolor to black and white. And we had to figure out, like, how in the world are we going to keep him upbeat and optimistic and hopeful so he can do all the incredibly hard things he has to do to get better.
Don't look away.
Henry's mother, Laurie Strongin, came up with an answer in his hospital room.
I looked in the corner and I was like, oh, what do you know? There's a magic closet in the corner. And Henry, I bet you, if you take that big pill or if you let them stick your finger and test your blood, that magic closet will have a treat for you.
Strongin set up a magic closet in each hospital Henry visited, stocked with his favorite toy.
Yeah! Batman what? Batman action figure what?
Batman figures of every variety. And he would earn them for adhering to his medical plan. In his mind, that made all the difference.
Really?
This incentivization. It's hard to imagine how much people going through transplants have to endure, but I can tell you, because I was Henry's mom and his prime nurse, he would take 26 medications a day.
So she handed it to him.
Oncologist Aziza Shad was one of Henry's doctors.
It helped him because he made himself a superhero, And superheroes can fight stuff, so Henry was going to fight whatever he was confronted with.
Henry fought for 2 years. He died at age 7. But the program he inspired promises payoffs for everyone in the treatment ecosystem, says Dr. Shad.
Number one, there's compliance, so that the child is taking their medicine or the patient is taking their medicine. Number two, that the parents are less stressed out and that the staff is less stressed out.
And look, says Dr. David Ash, who studies behavioral economics interventions in healthcare,
we all know that money is a motivator, right? As the expression is, chlorophyll is not the only green catalyst. Money does matter.
Not to be hard-hearted here, but hasn't money been shown to often backfire as an incentive?
It turns out in a lot of these experiments, the amount of money isn't that important. It's how you deliver it, whether it's exciting, whether it's a kind of thing. It's almost a way to keep score in a game.
That's Henry and his girlfriend, Bella.
Henry's mom is now the CEO of Hope for Henry.
When I talk to people about the program, inevitably they ask about the correlation between Hope for Henry bucks and US dollars.
Right.
And doesn't every single kid want a brand new computer? Doesn't everybody want an iPad?
Yes, that's what I would have thought. I would have thought if I'm playing, I'm going, well, wait a second, they're just letting me set the price.
Kids do not game the system. What kids want is to learn how to cope and get through their medical treatment and get so far along the path to super duper better that they're back home.
Love this one.
Ariella Stein certainly doesn't game the system. She actually puts her Hope for Henry bucks towards Build-A-Bear gift cards. Makes the bears.
Then I go to different local hospitals and give out the bears to the kids. Making other kids happy just makes me happy, especially because I know how they feel.
Helping others motivates her to stick with her own treatment.
A lot of the times I don't want to go to radiation, but then I think, well, if I do that, I can get a gift card to make other kids happy, because that's usually what I get gift cards for.
Oh, thank you so much. I think what you're doing is wonderful.
Dr. Shad thinks the program has long-term benefits as well.
The long-term outcome for me as a pediatric oncologist is that the child will have less PTSD. I've seen many families get divorced and separated. I've seen siblings run away from home. I've seen risk-taking behavior in childhood cancer survivors. I've seen young girls get pregnant early only because of the stress that they had to go through.
Moreover, says Dr. Shad, there are economic benefits.
I think what you spend up front translates into tons of savings down the road. Children who deal with their illness with all these supports around them have fewer stays in the hospital and fewer complications.
Researcher Matt Davis hopes to have his data on the program by early next year. But Erica Stein's testimony about daughter Ariella suggests what he'll find.
She's a very, very silly, sassy, goofy kid, and that hasn't changed at all.
Even though she's back in the hospital, recovering from complications after a bone marrow transplant. This is economics correspondent Paul Salman.